And we are live. Hello, hello. It's good to see everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. We got a very special live for you today, joined by these two gentlemen, Antoine Lee and Rémi Pulverail from Les Indémodables. It's so good to see you guys. How are you both doing today?
We are well. I mean, I'm well. I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank
All
you.
fine.
Glad to hear. We were speaking a little behind stream, so we're just catching up. How have you guys been?
Great. I mean, it's as you know, it's very hot right now in Paris and in France, but I guess around all around the world where the summer is showing up. So, yeah. But otherwise, I cannot complain. Everything is doing. I mean, it's I've got a lot of project, exciting project. It's just that it's just a dream, I would say, right now. The
Busy?
way my life is. So that's yeah. No,
Busy.
I can't complain.
How does
Family wise and work wise, it's excellent. So
how
I'm
does
really
this
happy.
part of creating for you as an artist feel, like promoting your work after everything's said and done? How do you feel about promoting or coming on for interviews?
Well, it depends on the way you promote it. If you do it like the smart way, where I can really express what I wanted to do and the way I work with the brand and with the lab and everything, as long as the story comes from myself and there is no marketing bullshit around it, that's fine. It's just that it's still a pleasure for me. It's just that the problem is that the time it's taking a lot of time. So but you have to do it, otherwise some other guys are going to do it. I mean, not in my case, but then and you don't know what is going to be the way they're going to promote it. So no, it's always a pleasure when there is a fragrance with a meaning behind, when there is a real story, when there is just a pleasure to work on fragrances. Well, it's easy. It's just the time. I need time. That's all.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would do it every day.
Right. Remy, it's good to see you. We wish Valerie could have made it, but how have you
Yeah,
been?
yeah. Everything is fine at the lab, and I'm very excited to to share some more insight about the work that has been done on Immortelle Solair, on the ingredient, the research and development around the ingredient, which was a long way. So yeah, I'm very happy, and thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you for the sample of Immortelle Solaire. Let's discuss this. This is based around the note of Immortelle. How do you guys decide what you want to focus on?
Actually, you see, Immortelle was one of the first material, so it dates back to a few years, and you see, our producer of lavender, Benoît Cassan, based in Provence, in south of France. We were already collaborating with him on his fantastic essential oils. And one day he came to the lab to see our ultrasound extraction technology. And he said, on Immortelle, after I make the distillation, so the essential oil, there is still a strong smell. Could you do something with your technology to try to capture some more aromatic components from the distillation waste? And we said, okay, let's try that. And actually, so we made a second extraction after the distillation. Benoit dried the distillation waste, and we made a research work on the distillation waste of the Immortelle. And actually, after some months of work, we really could recover a lot from this waste, and actually 6 times more in terms of yield than the essential oil. So it means that when you only distill the Immortelle to get the essential oil, you more or less miss 80% of the aromatic components of the plant. And Antoine, by the way, the essential oil is not of high interest for perfumers. And here, with the second extraction, we could really get what was missing to smell all, especially the spicy facet and the ambery, leathery facet. We could not have enough with the essential oil. And then we did a combination of these two extracts, so the essential oil plus the ultrasound extract from the waste, to get what we call the full spectrum extract, which means really the full aromatic part of the plant. And it was a great innovation. And from there, with Antoine, we discussed, and it was interesting to work on this very complex and special ingredient, because you see, you smell probably the extract. It's not jasmine. I mean, it's. I think Antoine will tell more about that, but it's probably a very complex ingredient to manage because it's very powerful in a formulation. So it was very exciting to develop something around that.
Yeah, Immortelle's a very complex note.
Yeah. Okay, if I can just complete, because it's Rémi mentioned that of course Immortelle is available on the Perfumer's palette right now. Like you get the essential oil and even the absolute. So, and it's a material that I love to use before we did the full extraction. I mean the US extraction. Because to me, I mean, it was giving some, of course, there is something a bit. What I like about the Immortelle is also the mineral iodic part that you can have, and you can mix with some elements of leather, and it gives some little twist. That's the way I like to use it. But it's extremely harsh, and it's extremely difficult to dose. And it could take over. It can kill an accord. I mean, it's really, really difficult. So not a lot of people are using it, and especially the essential oil, because it's really blasting and it's really like very, very difficult to dose. So here, when we developed this, US extraction, I mean US ultrasound extraction. Then I discover almost a new spectrum and a new element, a new ingredient. Of course, it was smelling Immortelle, but you had so many other stuff, and not just I would say the harsh, very sometimes it's very harsh and very woody. And here it was much more complex. So you had a lot of facets. So basically, after it was to me like discovering different facets, different elements that were not, present in the other, like the essential oil and the absolute. And so to me, it was very inspiring because it was a little bit like when we did Vanilla Van, with the goose, the bean. Sorry, not the goose, the bean. I mean, just. I remind you that the Vanilla Van is a kind of, journey through a bean where I try to take you and show you different facets and the way they play together. And after I mix them the way I want. And then, a Vanilla Van was born. And here the complexity of the Immortelle full spectrum is so, intense. There is so many facets. I mean, I saw that you smelled it, and you can see when you just open it, there is almost like I would say candied fruit mixed with a gingerbread, like some spices. And then after it goes undertones, there is some dark woods, touches of tobacco. I mean, different facets. So we discussed with Valérie and Rémi, and we decided to do a little bit this kind of exercise, try to reveal all the facets of this wonderful ingredient. And this wonderful ingredient, actually, nobody knows it. We're just the only one to know what it smells like. I mean, of course, we did some little, promoting bag like this, where we sent actually this, just a sample like this, plus the real stuff here. And so you can show and you can smell that, and you can see the richness and the variety of facets that you can have. And that's the way we were completely in love with this product for a long time. So, and actually there is an anecdote, but I'm not going here to reveal it because we showed it to some people, like powerful people or powerful companies that were really intrigued, but it didn't go the right way. That's why we postponed this launch, because basically we couldn't work because we had some exclusivity going on, but now it's over. They just they didn't know what to do with this. It was maybe too beautiful for them. I don't know. So it's just that that's why actually we had, as Rémi was mentioning, we had this ingredient for a long time. And to me, remember, Rémi, I was pissed because I could not use it because of some exclusivity. We had some other guys that we thought they would buy, a lot of quantity, but it never happened. So for 2 or 3 years, I was not able to use these ingredients. So I was really, I was not furious, but I was not happy at all. And just that now, we really developed something around this ingredient. So yeah.
So for those that aren't familiar with Immortelle, tell us about the name Everlasting Full Spectrum, and then tell us what specifically this smells like. What, for the people that have never smelled Immortelle, what kind of facets and what does it smell like to them? What can they expect from just the Immortelle? Because this is extremely spicy. In the base, it's dirty. It's I want to say it's almost animalic. It has this kind of fill.
Yeah. There are leathery animalic undertones. You're right. So that's why it's curry. Very complex. Very curry. You're right as well.
Like carrots and roots.
You see that some of the facets that to me, are not obvious, but to you they are. So it's just the complexity. So, but just to maybe you're right. A lot of people don't know when we are mentioning what is Immortelle, but Immortelle is a kind of when you go to for example either in Provence or in Corsica, you go into the maquis, which is, the place where it's really, you get the vegetation, but it's very resinous, very aromatic. And then you have this kind of smell. And for those who are familiar with the Corsica, this is really a smell you can only, when you smell it once, you don't forget it. And it gives this very dry, very aromatic, woody, spicy, very, very unique and very specific. And it's also something you can actually smell when you are on the Atlantic coast in France, when you go to Vendée or even Brittany. There is a lot of Immortelle on the shore. And actually, that's why to me, it's very linked to some marine or ozonic or iodic notes, because to me it reminds me the sea. But it's very specific from this region as well. So when you walk by, you just have some whiff of Immortelle, and it's very unique. But it's not an easy. It doesn't smell like a flower. It's kind of harsh and difficult sometimes. It has a lot of personality.
It's quite rubbery.
So it's very difficult to it doesn't smell, as I said, like a nice rose or things like that. So it has a lot of personality and a lot of signature. So that's why it's not easy to use it, and that's why you're not using it every day in perfumery. But here the challenge was to actually present it as the star of the show, and so we did an overdose, as we are always doing when we are showcasing an ingredient. So on what you are smelling here, you have almost I don't remember, but between 3 and 4% of this ingredient in the formula.
Very rich, and it's a very dark note, and a lot of it reminds me of lavender. The texture of lavender, how lavender is very dry. But I find it really interesting that this is a dark note. Immortelle is a dark note, and to use it in a fragrance called Solaire, how do you get the sun? How do you show the sun in this fragrance? Because they're Immortelle and lavender is very dry. To me, it feels sun drenched. That dryness comes from the sun. So how did you
Absolutely
showcase Solaire?
Well, after, of course, you're right. It's just a matter of we try to use this and to represent this solar effect, is very luminous effect. Well, it's just adding some clarity and some, I would say, more fluidity than light. You know, when you smell the fragrance, it's not something that is refreshing and very light. But what we wanted to express is that Immortelle is very dense, dark, and how do we make it breathe better? So it's basically what we did, but we did also with some notes that are slightly solar. So you get touches of, ozonic notes also, and some salicylate, or things that are adding some fluidity and brightness in a very sunny, like a seashore kind of feeling.
Yeah, let's spray some on. I get so many things. I get licorice from this. I get syrup. I get coffee. I get chocolate. I get the hazelnut that we've seen in patchouli noisette.
You have everything in this. You're absolutely right. And you say, there is also like the kind of high level of cardamom as well. So that helps also to open the fragrance. You see, so
cardamom,
it's just a
cinnamon, star anise.
For the luminous part, we did not play with like the typical bergamot or citrus or kind of things like that. No, it's much more. I would say it's much more conceptual in a way. It's just to add fluidity and lightness with elements that I could smell in it. So like the fresh spices, ginger, cardamom, these kind of things that would open it, And after I added also some, touches of flowers to make it like the solar part, So, but it's just not adding things. I didn't want to add things that were not in the story, initially from the full spectrum, not, just try to work with elements that I could smell and try to enhance them or to make them, more present in a way, and to balance them the way it would give a twist and a feeling of lightness. Because when you smell Immortelle Solair compared to the ingredients, you see there is a fluidity. I like to use this word, a fluidity, something that is more, it's texture, but it's also very very luminous and very lively,
Yeah. What's been the feedback on the Immortelle Solaire so far, Rémi?
The feedback was fantastic. We got it day after day, and I think the people think that there is a very strong signature, which was the objective, because you see Orange et Sirocco, the last perfume from les Indémodables, was an easier one because, of course, Orange Blossom is something more that people know. It's more usual, maybe. The way it was worked with the Absolute was a bit making it a bit different, and the Royal Cinnamon. But Immortelle Solaire, as Antoine is saying, is a crazy ingredient. I must say myself, if we talk about you see, since Antoine is working on Les Indémodables, I think it was 2017 when he started with Iris Pearl. I'm very impressed. I tell you from the outside, because I don't know the inside of how Antoine plays with the ingredient, but from my perspective, Antoine now is incredibly comfortable with the overdosage of natural ingredients, and especially this one. I think if he had worked on that many years back, it would have been very difficult. And today, as he is involved in the R&D process, you see on all these ingredients that we develop, and also that is used, you see, to make this overdosage creation after creation. I think Immortelle was probably one of the biggest challenge in terms of formulation, and I think the result is absolutely amazing. And I think the people feel it, and we got really amazing comments, because what he has been able to overcome gives such a strong signature to the perfume that you can recognize when you smell it. And I think it's also what we like to do at Les Indémodables, because you see today in the niche market, we hear a lot from the retailers saying, the creativity, there is not much creativity. We are always around the same team. Copycat or people do not dare sometimes, perfumers, to go that far in the making a different creation, even if it's a bit bold and out of the trend. So I think this one is a good example of the fact that at Les Indémodables, we don't try to be in the trend or to meet some market expectation. And I think that's what also makes the beauty of this creation.
Yeah. When you guys are creating a perfume, how do you decide? Is it you decide, or is it Antoine? Is it Valerie? Is it a team effort? How do you decide when you're going to overdose a material like orange blossom and orange Scirocco, or make something way more complex like this Immortelle Solair?
I think it comes from it's. Sorry, go ahead. No, okay. So I'll go. No, but it's just that basically there is no. It's not like something that is established and like somebody has the idea and I would execute it. So it's really like a brainstorm. Each time we can speak together. We think there is something I love and I would like to work, or maybe Valerie wants to complete the collection with something that she has in mind, and we discuss the possibility to do it, and we do it. So it's just that based on the work that the Atelier Français des Matières is doing on their research on ingredients. So for example, right now we are developing 2 or 3 ingredients, and maybe one will be extraordinary, and we will use it for the collection, and we will drop the 2 others because they have no interest. There is a lot of involvement in terms of time, and sometimes you just see what is the result of this research. But I can tell you that a lot of things they are sending me, and it's just that it would be wonderful. Sometimes you have like ingredients that are making you dream, and you would love that it smells good, but it doesn't. So we just have to stop the development. But that's the process of research. So it's just that I would say there is no basically among some discussion we have ideas like this of doing something, and then if everybody is agreed, then I'll start to work.
Yeah, exactly, Eugene. You see, there is this, as Antoine is saying, we are fueled by the outcome of the research on ingredients, and then there is also, you see, the olfactive wardrobe, because this is a bit the philosophy of Les Indémodables. It means to explore some olfactive families which are not yet part of the collection, and so it should also make sense in the collection. But yes, it's so rich to have this research going on, and providing ideas to Antoine and to Valérie, and deciding on which ingredients we want to highlight or start from, and there are always some new ideas. So yes, this is.
Do you guys do any market testing with your perfumes before you launch them? Do you show them to customers or people to see what sort of reactions they're going to get, or is this just something that's made in-house and decided between you guys before it's released? And do you imagine as you get bigger and bigger that you will start doing market testing?
I don't know. We will never be bigger and bigger, Eugene, for one good reason. Which is that many ingredients on our palette is coming from very small producer. Might it be ultrasound extract or not, by the way. And if you take the example of Ambre Gris, which is totally rare and totally unpredictable, our business model, Eugene, must be clear. We are not going to become a big niche brand. Never. We will maybe grow. Yes, we hope, but in a reasonable way, and we will be always limited sometimes by the quantity of this very rare ingredient, and we are happy with that. You see what I mean? So we are not looking after huge growth or becoming a mainstream niche brands, because as you know, today there are more than 400 niche brands acquired by funds, investment, big groups. So this is not at all our strategy. And if you want to use a rare ingredient, very expensive, you need to accept to do this kind of limited production that we make. And I think Antoine as well is happy with that. The same in terms of distribution. You see, we try to be in the right places with the people who can appreciate what we do. We don't try to be everywhere. Today we have maybe 80 or 85 partners in the world, which is quite small. And this is the story of Les Indémodables.
So you guys have been around for 10 years. Is it almost 2016, 2017?
Yeah, 2016, the creation of Les Indémodables, and I would say the launch 2017, yeah.
So after almost 10 years, are you where you wanted to be with Les Indémodables and Atelier Français?
Yeah, bon, you see, we are not a company managed by, I would say, big marketing plan or turnover expectations. So we are really driven by passion. I think we did a huge progress on the research side, improving the technology, and now we really manage it well, the right way. So in terms of process, we are fueled with a lot of new plans and new projects. So it's very rich for the brand. And yes, I think when we started Les Indémodables, we were not expecting to go so far into this research process that is now a very rich asset for the brand. So yes, we will see what's going on for the years to come, but we are happy at least with the partners that we have chosen, the fact that we control the distribution, that we work with people we like, who have the same spirit as we have. I think Antoine also is happy with all these ingredients and the process in place, which is not very marketing, or not marketing at all, by the way. But yes, giving freedom to each of us and also to the engineers that are working in the company. So you see, we have a very passionate team. We are 10 people now at the lab. So you see, it's still a small scale. And we are happy with that, I think. And we keep investing to really always have this kind of innovation. And yeah.
Well, it sounds great. It sounds like you are growing, both Les Indémodables and the lab.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they are. No, we are
growing.
definitely. No, but the numbers are showing it. So just that without doing, as Rémi was saying, we don't have any marketing plan like aggressive ones. We are not here to please some investors to come and to be, to be bought afterwards. This is not the goal. The goal is really like to try to reveal to some people that are completely fond of the perfumery, that there is a perfumery that can stay authentic and where there is no limit in terms of price, of trends, marketing, whatever. It's really an artistic creation between the small team, and I don't have any constraint. I mean, they are not asking me, but do you think that the Brazilian or the US are going to like it or not? Basically, we don't care. It's just that to come back to what you said before is, that are we testing it? We are not doing any tests. You can imagine we don't have any. First of all, we don't have the budget for that. And but that Valérie has Le Bistrot de la Beauté, where a lot of people are coming there because they know that there is a certain expertise in terms of perfumery, and usually that's type of people that are going there. That's not the guy that you're going to find to Sephora, of course. This is not at all the same profile. So we know that they are loving those kind of brands, those kind of quality in the fragrances. And this is where actually Rémi and Valérie are getting, some, I would say, test results. And so is it fitting the brand? Is it good? Is it qualitative enough? Is it like what they're expecting? Is it surprising? So all those things, all those small questions, and after they tell me, they send me messages. Oh yeah, it's a winner. I mean, or this or that. So usually it's a good way of checking if it's the right fragrance to be put in the collection. And so far, we didn't do any mistake. There is no flop, and it hasn't been tested. So it's just that we can go on like this, the way we develop the fragrances. So that's great.
That is great. That sounds great. And we'll start taking some questions from the chat. If they have any questions they want to ask on Immortelle Solair, now would be the time to ask. In the meantime, we'll ask Rémi and Antoine I'm sure they won't want to reveal any sort of secrets, but if there's anything that they're working on that they can share with us, or anything coming out in the future, not to take away from Immortelle Solair, but
No, it was.
I know artists hate talking about what's coming next. They just want to talk about what's great. That's the worst thing you can ask an artist, isn't it? What's next? But we'll wait for some questions from the chat.
Yeah, I think in terms of botanicals, we have different projects in the pipe, but it was interesting because Antoine did, you see, when we developed Immortelle Solair, there was 2 olfactive roots. One that is the one that you smell, and the other one was much more oriental. So now we will probably, we have a very interesting second olfactive construction where we will use another ingredient, which is not from Provence, but so something different. So we are also exploring, I think it's important to say, some waste, because you see also in terms of sustainable development, I like myself as a sourcing expert to study and to try to do partnerships with some company that generate waste, making some natural products for food or whatever kind of business. And we try to see the waste they generate from their activity and try to value this waste, because there is a huge innovation potential with the waste of a different kind of supply chain of plants. And today that's Immortelle is an example, but there are others, and you don't only have the waste from distillation, so you can have from very different.
Rémi, did you purchase this waste, this Immortelle waste, or was it your own waste at Immortelle?
Alors yeah, we purchased that from Benoit, who made the distillation, because even if it's not very expensive, because of course it's a waste, but you need to dry it very fast after it has been distilled to avoid any molding. So there is a process and a work behind. So you need then to cut it in very small pieces, and then we can store it. So there is a process to manage this waste and make sure it is of the quality we are expecting. So yes, we are paying for the waste. It's not zero, and we are happy also because it brings some revenues and some values to something that before was just thrown away. So that's also a part of our ethic to try to give value to something that has no value before, and that also provides some revenues to the farmers and to the people we are working with. It's important in our philosophy.
It's a great example of what all those marketers are calling like the upcycling. It's exactly this, but it works and it's not bullshit. And actually, what is produced is even better than when you do the regular stuff.
Well, I tell you, this oil isn't. It's intense. It's insane.
Yeah,
extract that you sent to. Realizing this came from the product of waste is incredible. How clear and deep this is and rich.
I know.
It's really hard to believe that this could have gone to waste.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
This could have gone to waste, but it's so natural and real and earthy and bitter and organic and green and wow. But Spaced Out asks, and I'm sure, how hard is it to work with Immortelle as a material? Does it overpower the other ingredients? Antoine kind of touched on this earlier. And I imagine it does. That's
well,
really
of course. I mean, I don't know if this person, has an idea of how it smells like. But even if she or he knows, the full spectrum, the one I'm working with, is even better and even fuller and much more interesting. But yeah, it's kind of hard. And as Rémi was mentioning, it's just that it's really like a learning process to work with those ingredients that are extremely powerful and extremely faceted. It's not like, of course, you've got synthetic products like ambrosenide or isobutylquinoline that are extremely strong, but they're not faceted. It's might be bipolar or bilinear in a way, but it's just boom, and that's it. There is no facets, no variety, nothing. Here, and so you play with that. But to me, it's easier. Then after with when you have an ingredient that is very strong but has different facets, as you mentioned when you smelled it, it's more difficult to use and to actually dose and to balance with some other ingredients. Of course, if you take that and you put it in I would say a cheap structure of synthetic notes, you are just going to smell this because it's so powerful that it will take over. So you really have to balance it with things that are actually maybe not at the same level of power, but at least are that all together they will, contrast it and make it take the facet that I want without taking over the whole structure. So it's a matter of balancing, and that's why in this formula, for example, I have it here. So I'm using some things that are, like incense. You get some kind of birch leaf, cardamom, cyst. You see, those cyst is very, very strong, but it's cyst, not the labdanum, like the resinoid or the absolute. It's the essence, which is even stronger and more leathery. I use those kind of things, like girofle, which is clove, incense. I said guaiac wood, styrax, rum, licorice. There is also and actually there is a licorice part.
Raisin and coffee and syrup.
Exactly, but and I'm using actually the licorice is very important element because it gives, I would say, it's something that is wrapping and making it in a way softer and less dry and harsh in the back. So it giving like a feeling of pleasure of something a little bit edible without being gourmand and not vanilla. So this is those kind of things. So it's difficult. You really have to do a different trials to get the balance right, and you have to use other strong and powerful and very expensive raw materials. There is no secret. So basically, that's why all the formulas I'm working for Les Indémodables are priceless in terms of it's not viable for another brand. That's we can use that. We can do that. I can do that. They give me the privilege to do this because we are doing everything internally and we are reducing the cost. But that's it allows me to use something in terms of price that is insane.
Yeah, great answer. Tool says, will Les Indémodables make different takes on the same ingredients? For example, another ambergris perfume, but a different approach. Would you guys be willing to work on a similar note twice, but take a different approach to it?
Yeah, Eugene.
Yeah, why not, right? Why not?
We did that already. We did that already with the limited edition Vanilla Van Cœur de Oud, if you remember.
Oh, right.
It
Yeah.
was so now we are working. Alors that's a secret we unveiled for the Eugene channel, but we are working now on a second limited edition to revisit again Vanilla Van, because it's also interesting to make some variation around the formula, which is a bit the question of the person. And yes, we found a very rare and a totally crazy ingredient that we have developed, and now we are working on the second limited edition to make a variation around Vanilla Van with other facets, of course, linked to this ingredient that we have developed.
Absolutely. But
Wow.
I think this idea of this person mentioning ambre gris, which relate to ambre suprême, which is actually one of my favorite of the collection. You know, so it's something. This is the one I had the most pleasure to develop, and the one I like to wear among some others. But this one has a special place. To do well, we didn't think about that, but maybe it will happen. Maybe we can do some of the variation on not ambre suprême but on ambre gris. So definitely. We actually have another fragrance that is called Escale on Indonesia. Yeah, and where actually there is a formulation that I did, and we are using I was using some ambre gris tincture as well. So this is if this person is really in love with the ambre gris tincture, she can try the Escale on Indonesia. Yeah, it's a good one.
Remy, does the Atelier create anything for the food industry? Or just perfumes?
Alors, no, we have a sister company, Eugene, that is called Eden Ecosystem, which is the company in charge of manufacturing the ultrasound extract a bit larger scale, you see, because when we develop an ultrasound extract, we do it lab scale, so very small size. And then when we move to the production of Les Indémodables, or then we go to this small factory with a state-of-the-art equipment, but still not very big. So we have Eden Ecosystem, and at Eden Ecosystem, it's totally right. We are also working on some food project, but premium. You see, to give you an example, we are working on some incredible syrups, you see, for the mixology market. And it's interesting because today, the syrups available on the market are all using flavors. So it means a formula inside. And through this technology, now we are able to make and to create some syrups only with the plant and without any flavoring. So it's a bit more expensive, but the taste is totally incredible. So yes, we have a few food projects with this sister company.
Do you provide? Sorry, Remy. Do you provide just the material for the food, or do you create the entire product?
Alors, for the syrups, we work also a little bit with the food supplement, some food supplement players. Sometimes we provide the full product, or sometimes the concentrated extract. It depends on the request and on the formulation they want to have.
Wow. Who knew perfume and food would have so much in common?
Yeah, but you see, always in the same kind of market, you see mixology, Antoine knows it because he has a few also contacts, and he did some olfactive sessions for mixologists. And it's very exciting because it's a very creative also, you see, business field. And there are a lot of parallel with perfumery because you see the mixologue is using so different syrups, alcohol, ingredients, puree, fruit puree, and so he has a kind also of palette of ingredients. And we like also the spirit of mixology, which is very creative, exciting, with new players, small players. And that's why we have we like to also do some work for this kind of applications.
Do you guys create any candy?
No, not yet. But
Not
if you
yet.
if you
Coming
ask,
soon. Coming soon.
You mean candy with the ingredients that we are using in perfumery, right?
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is the okay. No, not
Yeah.
yet. I mean, this is a question, but I saw another question before that we skipped. It was showing on the screen, and I think it was interesting also. It was, do you think about sandalwood? I think it was.
Right.
I don't know who asked
that
it.
one. I highly
So, but it's a great question because I'm really a sandalwood lover. I mean, for years and years, I love to use, but the synthetic sandalwood, you know, for everything that is made like Javanol, Bagdanol, those kind of things. I mean, I was at Givaudan when they launched the Javanol, and I fall in love with this, and I was using it all the time. So it's what's giving some creaminess at the time that was interesting. The only thing is that, yeah, I would love to do one, but the problem is that I was saying that we don't have any limitation in terms of price, but to do an overdose of Santal Misor oil would really be extremely difficult, and in terms of price, and also it's not as, I mean, it has some power, but it's more subtle. It's more like very delicate in a way. So we would have to do something that would be different from the collection we have, you know, and because otherwise we could do a sandalwood, and I can add what I know that is giving a lot of power with synthetic sandalwoody note, but then I would not respect the rule of Les Indémodables, because Les Indémodables is based not on synthetic product, but on natural product. You know what I mean?
And overdosing too.
That exactly, an overdose. No, so I would have to put like 10-15% of sandalwood, but nobody's doing that. Even Guerlain is not doing it with Samsara. They cannot, you know. So it's just that you cannot, you at what, and then you have to think that to really make a really nice natural sandalwood, that would have to be delicate, and then it will be different from the range of power and signature of the collection, and then it would be very surprising, I think. But why not? Why not? At one point we can consider this and try, and maybe but then it will require a lot of work. But that's something that we might consider.
Could you create something with maybe less power that doesn't need to be so full, something more airy and transparent?
Absolutely, something much more delicate or things like that. The problem is that after you get, you know, how the people are going to be. It's like, oh, they did a sandalwood, but it's not as powerful of Santal 33 from Le Labo. Of course, there is 0 gram of the real sandalwood, and they are just. It's a great fragrance, but it's a synthetic fragrance in a way. It's like, so it's much more not commercial. It's not true. It's really, it has a signature, and it has a lot of power. You know, when you go to New York, you know the smell of New York. It's sandalwood, it's Santal 33 and weed. That's what you smell in the streets.
Yeah.
No, but really.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So just to tell you about the power of and then, so, you know, the people are going to compare and think and say, what are they doing? It doesn't smell. It's very expensive and doesn't smell.
Right.
So, but it's, as you said, we are not here to please everybody. We are just here to please the people who are looking for authenticity and real creativity and inspiration. So maybe there is a way to do it. This is something we need to discuss, maybe.
Yeah, I think, if I was to add a comment, I think when you smell Féminité du Bois, Eugene, that you probably know, when you smell the actual version and the old version, you see a huge difference, because there is not anymore a sandalwood album, and the real sandalwood. And it lacks of richness, etc. And the sandalwood is probably also a base note, but maybe it could fit well as a base note, because it brings some elegance, even if it's not powerful. And maybe, Antoine, we could think about it. You see, for your note we are working on, which is called Addict something.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see what I mean?
Yeah, yes, I see what you mean. So on live, you see, maybe we are talking about one of the next of the collection. You see, this is
we
like
should book you guys in more often.
You're right.
But when it comes to sandalwood, Antoine, let me ask you really quick. What do you prefer in terms of power? Do you prefer something that's heavy like Santal 33 or something softer like Chanel's Bois de Zile, where it's lighter, airier, transparent, almost like a skin scent? But
I get to respect. No, but I know. This is exactly. You see, this is exactly this. So it's to me, it's there are two fragrances that are excellent in their categories, of course. But well, to me, I wish I could do a Bois des Îles with a more contemporary power, in terms of. But it's difficult to achieve. So to me, they are two different, even though they are both sandalwood fragrances. This is exactly you can see the evolution of the perfumery here. Before you had something that was like, I would say like very well balanced, because with raw materials that are a lot of natural products. And then you go through what is the modernity of the perfumery, using a lot of synthetic products that are really blasting. And even when you smell Santal 33, for example, right on top, there is something a bit, there is an association of something we call Undecavertol, which is a violet green harsh note mixed with some cypriol or things like that. So it makes it very like a papyrus kind of smell. And it's not easy for a lot of person. But after, when we have the courage to put it on skin, then you discover that the sillage is great, and it reveals a lot of things. So it's definitely something that has not been done to be a test killer, which is good. That's first of all. This is something that is really respectful to me. It was really from the perfumer an intention to develop this with this, I would say, small default or unbalance on top. But it makes also the signature to it. Bois des Îles is the opposite. It's like a piece of orfèvrerie, like everything is really well balanced and really put at the right place, at the right level, with the right quality. Of course, that's Chanel. And it was at the time where actually they had, perfumers that had the time, they could take the time to really do a lot of modification before they launched it. So it was two different ways, two different approaches of sandalwoody fragrances. But I respect them. Both examples are really respectful.
Yeah, that's great. All right. I would love to see Les Indémodables do a sandalwood perfume, and I'm sure everybody else in the chat would as well. So.
That's it, Rémi. We have the next one.
Fingers crossed. All right. So I'm sure if anyone can do it, you would do a wonderful job at it. And we look forward to it. We are manifesting a sandalwood perfume, right, guys? But yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else that you guys would like to add to we've gotten a little bit off track from Immortelle Solair, but if there's anything else you guys would like to add before we go.
No,
I personally love this. I will be purchasing a bottle very, very, very soon, and I look forward to this, adding this to my collection. But yeah.
Okay. No, it's just that we are, as you mentioned, it's still I mean, this adventure with the Indémodables is a great surprise, because we are getting more and more people that are giving us great comments, and really like sometimes like I've got messages like this, and so, and you feel, I mean, when people are spending so much time to say, oh, I'm in love with Muscat des Sables, and they give me the impression and everything, it's like, wow. And so you have to answer, you have to respond, because it's unrespectful, and they are in love with the product you developed. So I have to respond. So, but it's just getting more and more.
Yeah,
I need to have almost like a secretary to do this with me.
That's why I try not to bombard you with too much messages, because I know what it's
yes,
like.
Please.
You know
but
what I mean?
Anyway,
no.
You're blacklisted anyway.
Okay, great.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this was great. It was great to see you guys. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. You too, Eugene.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
I watching from the outside, watching Les Indémodables grow, it's been exciting for me. Watching and just seeing where you guys are going, and it's great just to follow along. So I'm excited for you guys. I'm happy, and I'm sure everybody else is. So,
all right, thank you.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
see. You know, we've had you guys on before. We will see you guys again very soon, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, with Sandalwood, of course.
With Sandalwood or the next Vanilla Man or whatever it is that is being released. We're excited for you guys, and we're happy for you, and we're right along with you guys for this ride.
Yeah. 1 second, there is Valerie that just want to pop up to say hello to the.
Yes, we would love to see her.
To Eugene, to the famous Eugene. We turn the camera.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Valerie. It's good to see you.
Hey, salut, Valérie. Salut.
Sorry to pull you away from whatever it is you're doing, but it's good to see you, and I'm sure the fans, the chat wants to say hi.
Yeah, because she's the only one really working in the team. So
She's the one making
you're
money.
just
We're having
promoting
all the
and
fun.
speaking and everything, but somebody has to fill up the bottles and everything and send the pack and everything. So she's the real worker behind the brand.
How are you, Valerie?
Thank you. I'm very fine. Yes, it's very hot here.
Yeah,
But
okay.
everything is okay.
Excellent. It's great to see you. It's the same here. It's been hot all week. Today it's been raining, but right after I'm headed to the lake for the weekend, so I'll be enjoying some water
Cool.
and
Great
sun.
for you.
So,
Yeah, excellent.
I hope you
Thank
guys
you.
all have a great weekend too. We'll see you very
All right.
soon. Everybody in the chat, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for your comments, your time, and your energy. We will see you all again soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Eugene. Bye.
Thank you.